It's been a ride. I am not doing what I expected I was going to be doing back in the day, but man, I love it. So long story short, I first started off as a child actor, thinking I was going to be singing groups and dancing, and musical theater and Shakespeare. I mean, the whole range. Did some professional work, got a degree in it. Woke up in my early 20s going, I don't think this is actually what I want to do with my life. So thought, hey man, I want to make a difference in the world. I took a left turn and went into nonprofit stuff. Worked with kids and churches and sports camps and inner city programs, and honestly, along the way, worked for some really nice guys who had a great heart to change the world and loved God, and they were terrible leaders. Like they meant well, and they had no idea how to lead an organization. And if we're going to really poke at them, I should include myself as one of those nice guys who had no idea what I was doing leading. And so was struggling with organizational problems, was talking to a mentor, and I was like, it's not bad people. They're not even jerks, but like what's going on? And they handed me a John Maxwell leadership book. So first, honestly, I took the book and I was like, listen, I'm like a creative ministry guy. Like I don't do this accounting stuff. And they're like, just read the book. And I stayed up reading that book till 2 a.m. like it was a novel, because it was the first time I had words to describe the stuff I was wrestling with. It was like light bulbs going off in my, like fireworks going off in my head. It's like, oh, that is exactly what just happened. I just was talking, but at first time ever I could process it and deal with it. And I began to see problems I needed to deal with. And so books turned into, I signed up for Maxwell's CD of the Month Club. I don't know if you remember this way back in the day.
That, yeah.
And conferences, and I got a coach, and man, it was kind of began what ultimately became my career. It's how do I come alongside leaders? Once I figured some stuff out for myself, how do I help others and what could I do? And went back to school, got a master's in business, emphasis in organizational leadership, started working with one of my professors on the side. When I graduated, he hired me full-time. And then 3 months later, he said he wanted to retire and asked me to take over his consulting company. So I was doing that, having a blast, had met my wife, had our first couple kids. And then my friends from high school happened to include the Cathy family that owns Chick-fil-A. And so a bunch of my friends, including the Cathys, of course, all work at their headquarters. But I, at the time, right in high school, I was like, hey, good luck with your little restaurant company. You know, hope you guys make it. Yeah, they're going to make it, I think. So it's about 15-ish years ago now, I was doing this consulting and all this fun stuff. And the Chick-fil-A folks said, hey, man, why don't you come do that for us? And so I joined their team and helped them build a lot of their stuff. And man, I learned 10 times more working for Chick-fil-A than I did in my master's program. And I had a great master's program. It was just such an amazing role. Ended up being a really unique job where 50% of my time they sent, just go travel the world, go inside the great companies, they'll make connections for you and learn how they do it. Just, we need to learn this, we need to learn that, just go figure it out. And then the other half was come back and lead some sort of upgrade for us. And so I got paid to learn world-class company building. It was from the inside, not like, let's read a book about it. Like, let me go work on their team for 6 weeks and then come back and talk about it. So it was crazy fun. Did that for several years, wrote a couple books. These are pre-Maxwell. I was self-published my first 2 books because I was not trying to build another brand. I figured this was my run. And then God had these crazy cool opportunities that challenged me. And as actually my buddies at Chick-fil-A said, maybe you should go for that. So I took a leap of faith. I left Chick-fil-A to build my own consulting company back up again. And the first client to sign with me was Chick-fil-A. So I get to keep doing work with them, but now a lot of companies on how to build great brands. And so, gosh, for the last almost decade, I've been helping other folks do this as well. And so this is what I've done for 23 years, 24 years, something like that. I've been inside helping build great brands, either as a staff at Chick-fil-A or also as a consultant helping a lot of other folks. And so, man, it's been a ton of lessons learned. And so to bring it full circle, which is the Maxwell thing, is just personally, it's really kind of a beautiful kind of full circle God moment of like, how cool. It was a Maxwell book that got me started. And then when it came time to write a book summarizing the last 20 years of lessons learned on what the great brands actually do, it was Maxwell's team that ended up publishing it for me. So man, it's been a ride and better than I expected.